12 gentle ways a man shows he deeply loves one woman. Love in a man's heart doesn't always arrive like thunder. It often settles in like sunlight through an open window, quiet, steady, and warm. At this stage in life, when the rush of youth has softened and what matters most is connection over performance, a man's love expresses itself in ways that may seem simple but carry a profound depth. That's what Helen came to understand about Robert. They met in their late 60s, both widowed, both carrying years of joy and sorrow. And while their relationship wasn't marked by fireworks or declarations shouted from the rooftops, it was built on something far stronger: presence, attention, and gentle acts that spoke louder than words. Robert didn't just love Helen, he lived his love for her. And here are 12 ways men like him show their love, not in grand gestures, but in the honest, enduring ways that matter most. 1. He notices what others overlook. When a man truly loves a woman, his attention isn't just on what stands out, it's on the small, quiet details that most others miss. It's the way he sees the change in her eyes before she even says a word. He notices when her laugh doesn't quite reach the same depth, when she folds her napkin a little more slowly, or when she hesitates before answering a question. These are not just observations. They are reflections of how deeply attuned he is to her emotional world. His love makes him sensitive to the subtleties of her being, and he responds not with demands or pressure, but with presence. He doesn't always ask, "What's wrong?" Because sometimes he knows she just needs silence, a warm cup of tea, or a gentle hand resting on hers. His attentiveness is not performative, it's sincere. To him, the details of her life, her routines, her expressions, even her pauses, matter. Noticing is his way of honoring her. And in a world that often moves too fast to care, his awareness becomes its own kind of love language. It says, "I see you," not just the smile you wear, but everything underneath it, and I choose to stay. 2. He shows up when it's inconvenient. Love reveals itself not just in the good times, but in the moments when showing up costs something: time, effort, or comfort. A man who truly loves you doesn't wait for the perfect moment to prove it. He shows up when it's raining and your tire's gone flat. He's there when you call in tears, unsure of what you even need. He rearranges his plans without resentment, not because he's obligated, but because you matter more than his routine. These moments are rarely glamorous. They don't come with roses or candlelight. They come with a steady presence, a hand at your back when you're exhausted, his coat draped over your shoulders when you forgot yours, his quiet voice on the phone saying, "I'll be there soon." Love like this doesn't demand attention or praise. It doesn't keep score. It simply shows up again and again, even when it's not convenient, especially when it's not convenient. And that's what makes it so meaningful. A man who is willing to be there for you in life's messy, unpredictable, ordinary moments is a man who has chosen you with his whole heart. His presence becomes a shelter, not loud, not flashy, just faithful, just love. 3. He respects her past without insecurity. When a man truly loves a woman, he understands that her past is not a threat. It's a part of the story that made her who she is. He doesn't flinch when she speaks of the years before him, or the love she may have lost. In fact, he listens closely, not out of comparison, but out of reverence. He knows that honoring where she's been is a way of honoring her whole self. There's no room for jealousy in his heart, because his love is rooted in security, not possession. He doesn't need to erase her history to feel like he matters. Instead, he respects that she's lived, that she's hurt, and that she carries those memories with tenderness. If she's been widowed, he might ask about the man she once called home, and he'll do so gently with care. He understands that grief and love can live side by side. His role isn't to compete with what came before, but to walk with her in what comes next. When he loves this way, he offers something sacred, the space for her to be whole, past and present. And in that space, a new kind of love begins, one that doesn't replace but builds upon everything she's ever known. 4. He makes her laugh when she wants to cry. There's something deeply tender about a man who can reach into your sadness and gently pull you toward the light. Not with pressure, but with patience, with humor, with heart. When a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't run from her sorrow. He sits with it. He holds space for the tears, listens to the pain, and when the moment feels right, he invites joy back in, one smile at a time. He doesn't try to fix everything. He knows some wounds aren't his to mend, but he'll try to lift the weight even just a little with a silly dance in the kitchen or a quiet joke whispered across the dinner table. He remembers what makes her laugh, what warms her spirit, and he offers it like a gift when the world feels too heavy. Laughter becomes his love language, not to dismiss her sadness, but to remind her that she's not stuck in it, that she's not alone, that there's still light, still life, even in the hardest days. It's in those moments, those soft, unexpected bursts of joy, that love proves its strength, because anyone can celebrate the good times, but only someone who truly loves you can bring warmth into the cold. 5. He learns what matters to her. When a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't just want to be part of her life. He wants to understand what gives it meaning. He listens closely, not only to her words, but to what lights up her eyes. He pays attention to the things that stir her soul, whether it's her love of gardening, her morning walks, her favorite music, or the causes she quietly supports. Even if her interests are unfamiliar or far from his own, he makes the effort to learn. Not out of obligation, but because what matters to her begins to matter to him. He asks questions. He remembers details. He shows up for the little things, not just holidays and anniversaries, but the art show she talked about or the church event she's been planning. He honors her world, not by stepping into it with fanfare, but by walking alongside her with respect. It's not about changing who he is. It's about making space in his heart for who she is. And over time, that shared understanding becomes a quiet rhythm between them. A love that listens, learns, and grows is a love that lasts. Because when he learns what matters to her, he's really saying, "You matter to me." 6. He speaks her love language, not just his own. A man who truly loves a woman doesn't just express affection in the way that feels natural to him. He takes the time to understand how she receives love, and then he meets her there. He learns that while he might show his feelings through actions or words, she may feel love through touch, time, or quiet presence. So he adjusts, not out of duty, but out of devotion. If she values quality time, he'll sit beside her in the quiet, not needing to fill the silence. If her heart feels most full through acts of service, he'll fix the loose handle on her favorite drawer without being asked. If she lights up from affirming words, he'll tell her, not just that she looks beautiful, but that she is beautiful, even on her hardest days. This kind of love requires humility. It asks him to listen, to observe, and to try. And through that effort, a deeper bond forms. Because love isn't just about feeling, it's about reaching. Reaching toward one another in ways that truly resonate. And when he chooses to speak her love language, he is saying something far more powerful than "I love you." He's saying, "I see you, I hear you, I choose you." 7. He fights for the relationship, not to win. When a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't see disagreements as battles to be won. He sees them as bridges to understanding. In moments of tension, he doesn't raise his voice to be right. He softens his tone to stay close. His goal isn't to prove a point, but to protect the bond they built. He listens, not to respond, but to understand. He pauses when the conversation gets heated, not to retreat, but to return with more clarity and care. He understands that love isn't about winning arguments. It's about winning each other over again and again, especially when things get hard. He knows that every relationship will have its rough days, but what matters most is how they weather those storms together. He's not afraid of conflict, but he's deeply committed to resolving it with grace. He doesn't hold grudges or keep score. He chooses patience over pride, humility over ego. Because when he loves, he values peace over power and connection over control. In every disagreement, his actions say, "This relationship matters more than my need to be right." And in that quiet commitment, love grows stronger, rooted not in perfection, but in the willingness to keep choosing each other. 8. He keeps her close, even in silence. There's a certain kind of love that doesn't need to fill every moment with words. When a man truly loves a woman, he cherishes the stillness between them. He doesn't rush to entertain or constantly explain himself because he knows that the deepest connection often lives in the quiet. Sitting beside her, watching the world go by, holding her hand without a single word exchanged, that's when he feels most at home. Her presence alone brings him peace. He doesn't feel the need to impress or perform. He simply wants to be near her, to share the air she breathes, to feel her nearness like a steady rhythm beneath everything else. In a noisy world, their silence becomes sacred. It's a space where trust lives, where comfort rests, where love is felt without being spoken. It's the calm that follows understanding, the kind that doesn't need constant reassurance because it already knows it's safe. In that quiet, he is saying everything his heart holds. You matter. Just being with you is enough. When a man keeps a woman close, even in silence, it's not emptiness he offers. It's presence. And in that presence, love finds its most honest and enduring form. 9. He celebrates her for who she is today. When a man truly loves a woman, he sees her not through the lens of who she used to be, but through the beauty of who she is right now. He doesn't long for a younger version of her or compare her to the past. Instead, he honors the journey she's walked, the laugh lines that mark years of joy, the wisdom in her eyes that comes from surviving storms. He finds her breathtaking not despite the years, but because of them. Her strength, her tenderness, her grace, all of it is what makes her radiant to him. He notices the way she still lights up when talking about her passions, how her voice softens when she speaks with care. He sees her confidence, her compassion, and her courage, and he admires the woman she's become. He doesn't love her for who she was decades ago. He loves her for the life that shaped her into the woman standing beside him now. In his eyes, she is not fading. She is evolving. And in every word, every glance, every touch, he reminds her, "You are beautiful now. You are enough now. And I love you, not for who you were, but for everything you are today." 10. He makes room for her independence. A man who truly loves a woman doesn't try to hold her back. He stands beside her as she moves forward. He doesn't see her independence as a threat to the relationship, but as a strength that makes their bond even more meaningful. He understands that love doesn't mean constant closeness or control. It means trust, respect, and the freedom to be fully herself. He encourages her to pursue what fills her soul, whether it's her hobbies, her friendships, or her quiet need for solitude. He doesn't ask her to shrink to fit into his life. He expands his own to support hers. When she wants time to reflect, to reconnect with herself, or simply to breathe, he doesn't take it personally. He knows that her space is not a rejection, it's a renewal, and when she returns, she comes back fuller, lighter, and even more herself. This kind of love doesn't clip wings, it helps them stretch. It allows her to grow, to dream, and to explore her own path without guilt. because he knows that a woman who feels free will always choose to stay, not because she has to, but because she's loved in a way that honors every part of who she is. 11. He plans a future even in the later years. When a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't stop dreaming just because the years have added up. He knows that love doesn't have an expiration date, and he continues to imagine tomorrows with her, no matter how many yesterdays they've already shared. It might be as simple as planting bulbs in the fall so she'll have flowers come spring. Or it could be marking the calendar for their next road trip, even if it's just to a nearby lake they both love. These aren't just plans. They're quiet promises that he sees her in his future. At a stage in life where so much can feel uncertain, his willingness to look ahead becomes a profound act of love. He's not just thinking about today's comfort, but tomorrow's joy. He talks about the next chapter, not as a vague idea, but with intention, with hope, and with her always by his side. He knows the value of time, and instead of fearing what's left, he treasures every moment and fills it with purpose. His plans don't have to be grand. They just have to include her, because for him, the future still matters, and she is, without question, the heart of every tomorrow he envisions. 12. He shows gratitude every day. A man who truly loves a woman never lets gratitude go unspoken. To him, appreciation is not reserved for anniversaries or special occasions. It lives in the everyday. He thanks her for the little things, like making his favorite breakfast or simply being there after a long day. He notices her efforts, even the quiet ones she doesn't talk about, and he acknowledges them with sincerity. Not because he has to, but because his heart overflows with thankfulness for who she is and all that she brings into his life. His gratitude isn't always wrapped in big words. It might come in a warm glance across the room, a gentle squeeze of her hand, or a whispered thank you in the stillness of night. He understands that love deepens not just through grand romantic gestures, but through the steady rhythm of appreciation. And he gives it freely without being asked, because he knows that feeling seen, valued, and cherished matters more than anything else. His gratitude is a daily affirmation. I don't take you for granted. I see you. I choose you. In those simple, heartfelt moments, she knows she is not just loved, she is treasured, and that is the kind of love that never fades. Final thoughts. True love lives in the quiet things. In the end, the love that lasts isn't found in fireworks or flawless words. It's built in the hush of ordinary days, in the simple ways a man shows up with care, attention, and presence. When a man truly loves a woman, it's not about grand declarations. It's in how he listens, how he waits, how he protects her peace even when no one is watching. His love doesn't need an audience. It speaks through action, consistency, and tenderness. It weaves itself into the everyday. The cup of coffee he makes just the way she likes, the walk he takes at her pace, the way he remembers what she forgets. These aren't small things. They're everything. Real love doesn't fade with age. It matures. It becomes deeper, more grounded, more sacred. If you found a love like this, hold it close. Water it with gratitude. And if you're still waiting, don't lose heart. The kind of love that honors who you are, your past, your spirit, your dreams, exists. And it often arrives softly without fanfare, but with a presence that changes everything. Let us remember, true love isn't loud, it's steady. And in the quiet, that's where the heart knows its home. Now we'd love to hear from you. Have you experienced love like this? Do any of these signs remind you of someone special in your life, or someone you hope to find? Please share your thoughts, memories, or even hopes in the comments below. Your story might just touch someone else's heart today.